So, YouTube, let's talk about the concept of wealth. And I'm going to tie this into generational wealth within a family, within your community, and within the larger community and everything else that would be entailed or come together after that. But it all starts with your family, and your family really starts with you and everyone that's a part of it, but you are the only one that can determine how you interact with the family and what you're doing with the family. So with everything with the family, for you it starts with you and how you are interacting with them. The same way the family interacts with the larger community and takes their family concepts or ideologies to the community and voices that. Same concept, just and that community is a part of a bigger community, a city, a state, a whole continent. When we're talking about wealth, I don't mean monetary. I mean wealth of information, knowledge, including monetary gain. I'm talking about just pure energy. Wealth in energetic ways, which is in every way possible as life, as living. So when we attain wealth, it's not just money. It comes in all facets. Maybe one facet comes before the other. Maybe you get money before you really find your spiritual or what you actually are, your consciousness, your awareness, your actual compassion for life. Maybe, hold on a sec. Maybe you get your spiritual base first before the money. It all comes in fractions. Maybe you just gain a lot of information about things you don't even know how to use yet. But that's wealth, because eventually that information is going to find a structure in knowledge and become gnosis, because you're going to start utilizing in different ways and cross-referencing that information and using it as blueprints in different areas. And you're going to instantly gain wealth in all these different facets just by having a large amount of information and being aware of your surroundings. Being aware of your movements will give you a large amount of wealth very quickly. Because the more conscious you are, the more wealthy you truly are. A lot of people think wealth is only monetary, so they go to a monetary standpoint that you need to have dollars and digits in your account to be wealthy. But a lot of these people that have a lot of dollars and digits in their account, that's all that they're looking at. They really don't have life outside of that, because that is their pulse, that is their lifeline, that rolling number. That's why there needs to keep being gains when it comes to corporations, because it's a dead entity, and unless you keep moving it up, how are you going to know that it still has a pulse, that it still is a semblance of life? Because it's truly not alive, but the fact that it is able to get bigger, in a sense, as a corporation, as an entity, must have some kind of life, even if it's a dead the undead, and it's being pumped full of living energy. It's still showing gains. But that's why a corporation can only have monetary gain. A corporation can't have wealth. It's impossible. If you're dead, you can't have wealth. Wealth is only allotted to people who have high energy. And a lot of the people who have a lot of monetary gain operate just like a corporation. They don't have a lot of energy, Their focus is purely on the gains and the numbers and the capital, which is what the corporation's focus is on. Because of how businesses have been orchestrated as this is all for the business, instead of this is for the people that are in the business. Because that's truly what it's about. It's backwards. Just like these people who have all this wealth, millions and billions of zeros at the end of a one, and they feel that this is life, even though it's just a bunch of zeros. When life is an L, it's one, because you can only win when you're alive. And those zeros are representative of nothing. It's figmentation. So it's fiat currency. It's a representation of what it could be. But if you don't already have $1 billion worth of wealth inside of your being, you ain't gonna be able to know. You ain't gonna know what to do with it. You ain't gonna know how to do anything with it. When you start to build something, if you do it too quickly, it's going to fall just as quickly. The more time you take to build it up, the more time you take to build a structure, a house, your body, a ball, a snowball, the stronger that you are going to be, because the more detail orientated you're going to be, the stronger you're going to build that structure, the more trusts there are going to be, which is what this is going to come down to, is trust. With trust is the support. That's how you make a bridge, is the trust. If you don't have the trust that is carrying all of the weight, the load-bearing portions of the bridge, you can't do much with it. What's going on here? Hold on. Oh, my Wi-Fi. So, my phone doesn't look right. So in the concept of wealth, it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with something that most people currently in this day and age have an issue with, simply because they are not taught how to do it in any way, shape, or form, and they're actually deterred from doing it in all sorts of ways in this backward society that we inhabit. And that is communication. Communication is the only thing that stops your family from being wealthy. It's the only thing. It's that simple. Because if people could communicate in a cohesive, concise, respectful manner, that's movement, that's life, compassion. If you can do all of this in every industry that you speak about, whatever it is, whether you're talking about politics, whether you're talking about health, whether you're talking about finances, whether you're talking about technology, it doesn't matter. When you can do this, no matter what you're talking about, your family's going to be wealthy. I guarantee it. I guarantee it, because that's the only thing that stops anyone from being wealthy, is they more than not argue with their family. They more than not debate with their family. Then building their family, each other, getting people into the correct positions so that everything is balanced and everyone's using their strongest ability, so that everyone's is using their skill set that they have, that they're the best at, whatever that may be. Most families don't even think about this. Well, maybe you're really good at technology. Well, why don't you handle getting all of our technology stuff together, and then I'm really good at writing documents and paperwork, and they're really good at reading. So one person's good at technology. Why don't they go and get everything set up technological wise, so no one has to deal with it? Because people aren't good at technology, waste a lot of energy in technology. So the person who's good with it should do that. You just saved everyone a bunch of energy. You just increased your revenue right there because your energy went up. Your energy levels of your family went up. Now, I stress about writing things. I stress about creating documents and forms, and I don't know what words to use, but you're really good at it. You're really articulate when it comes to writing. You do all the writing for us. You just saved a bunch of energy again because now you're not stressing over it and it's easy to them. Of course, you're going to put your touches on it, but let them create the base. Don't stress yourself because you don't have to do everything. That's the point of having a family. It's the whole point. So you guys can all work together. It's a company. It's a business. That's all it is, a business. Your family's only broke because you don't run it like a business is truly ran. Because a business ain't even ran like a business. A business is ran like a corporation. A business is a family. A business is busy. A business is a BBB. That's why it's core B. And then you'll have someone who is good at reading. Everyone has these different parts in their family. It just is how it is. Not everyone's good with everything. And you don't want to be. I'm not saying that you can't know a little bit about everything. That's part of the fun, is diving into things that you really don't know and experiencing and gaining information from it and then actually figuring out how you can utilize all that. That's really a lot of the fun. But how about we first get to a point to where we can do that freely? To where we have enough wealth to where we can go and actually do that without having to have a stress or a worry about money or going to a job and having a stringent schedule that we didn't choose. Let's get to that point first. Then we'll have as much time and energy as we want to start diving into these different things and experiencing and gaining information out of them so that we could bring it back to our family, assimilate it to create more wealth for everyone. Because ideally, everyone should be able to do everything in the family, but that's not how it starts. Not how it starts. You start with people's skill sets. Work on that. So someone's going to be good at reading. Get them some books on information that everyone in your family needs to know. Books on law, books on health, books on the society, books on history, books on astrology. Get them all. Because there's people who could read through 300, 400, 500 page book in a couple hours and comprehend it. Get them books. Because these are invaluable assets to your family. But people are using their skills outside of their family. So their family is not gaining energy. Their family is just hobbling along with a broken leg. The wheel has a leak in it. They're slowly dying. And in this society, that shit's about to go pop very, very quickly. I must say really and very at the same time. But if you had your family orchestrated in a way to where you knew your strong suits and what everyone knew their role or how they are assisting the family or the business structure to gain energy so that everyone can be so everyone can enjoy their existence and their life within the family, you don't have to even think about what's going on outside of you. It's irrelevant because you guys are going to be able to assimilate to anything going on outside. Whatever's going on out here is not going to affect your family once you have a sound family structure. It's like you have a sound mind for yourself. You have a sound family structure. Hermetics. And we can see this concept very clearly with children. This is natural in us. This is natural in children. It actually gets trained out of us because they train us like animals. Vets, veterinarians. Why do you think it's called that? A hospital. Well, you should go look up the kangaroo or the animal courts. Go look up animal courts and zoos. Go look up zoos and vets. And you may find a few interesting things. But anyways, let's get back on topic. You can see this in children before they are trained, before they are reared. Children just love to play. They just love to run around. If you allow a child to run around with other children, they'll run around all day and just play and enjoy themselves. And what they do, because people wonder, how do you just have unlimited energy? You just keep going. It's not because they're a child. It's because they haven't started throwing their energy into the gutter yet. It's because they haven't started saying to themselves, oh, I just have to go and do this. I just have to get through this. I just have to this. No. They're running around with other children with high energy, running around each other, building up energy off of each other, creating a charge, and creating life and vibration everywhere. Making plants grow, they're making the earth expand, they're making the sun get brighter and hotter, they're making the trees spread out. They're doing all this by just playing, by just enjoying themselves. Because that's all we are really doing is playing. We're all playing the game. Most of us are just playing the game wrong, or in a way that we don't see that we're actually damning ourselves. What happens at a point with these children is they actually start bickering with each other because of their parents. They'll start blaming each other. No, you didn't tag me. I'm not it. There's 15 minutes gone. They just wasted a bunch of energy bickering. But now that compounds. Now that's in them. Now it's in their subconscious. Now that just keeps going and escalating because this is what occurs from the point of being a child to when it starts until most people keep doing it through adulthood. They argue. They debate. They argue over things constantly, consistently, to no end. They gossip. They talk behind people's backs. They talk about each other. They talk about their family members that live in the damn house behind their backs. Sometimes they'll talk about it to the people in front of them. All of this is negative energy. You're robbing your family of energy by doing any of this. You're robbing your family and yourself of energy by debating with any of them. By debating with anyone that's in your family structure or your household. If you're debating with them, you're completely stealing all the energy out of everyone. And this is what happens to children because they get absorbed into that debate of, I don't know what to do with my life. It's your fault. We don't have any money. Oh, this is like $40 for this light, but it's going to be so useful. Well, then get it. Who cares how much it is? And this doesn't have to be, but this is the culture that is created. This is how the society wants everyone to be. They want them to be a culture that's built on debating, on arguments, on disagreements, on competition, on war, divide and conquer. That's all that this is. This is the whole concept. This is why your family is poor. Because you have poor social constructs. You have a poor quality of life. You have a poor health. Your health is poor. Your energy is poor. What you give out is poor. What you take in is poor. And as long as you allow that to be, you're going to be in a miserable, stressful position. But you can change it at any moment. All you have to do is start looking where your energy is being wasted. And you can do this monetarily. You can look and see, I'm spending a lot. Put it all on your balance sheet. What do you got? I'm putting a lot of money towards frivolous and unwarranted things. I'm putting a lot of energy towards entertainment. Almost 40% of my income. Maybe that should change. Maybe you shouldn't spend that much towards frivolous, ambiguous things that have no relevance to yourself and your family in gaining and sustaining wealth. If that's not your focus, get rid of it. If you're in a position where you don't have where you are not satisfied, where you are not enjoying your life and where you are and how it is laid out in front of you and around you. If you don't like it, well, just simply start by, what's taking my energy and how can I get more of it back? That simple. You do this with yourself, you do this with your finances, and you do it with everyone around you. You hold them accountable. You hold yourself accountable. It doesn't mean you fight. You have to have a logical reasoning to why you say something and why you feel a certain way. Because that's going to tell you, is it a feeling or are you simply emotional because of some past trauma? There's nothing wrong with being emotional, but we have to be honest. If it is emotion, we have to be honest with it. That's where people get emotional and they just escalate into emotion, and then people start arguments. And it's when you start pulling out emotion as energy, that's just wild energy for most people, because they don't know how to utilize emotion. They don't know how to get that to a finite feeling of a source to actually utilize it in some way, because it's not external that you use emotional, that's internal. Emotions are for you, not for anyone else. And when you let out that emotion, you're just pouring out your energy all over the place. You're just pouring out your health, your wealth, all over. And we have to see that, and we have to confront that, particularly in your family. If someone is emotional in your family, you have to confront them about being emotional and why they are. You have to be honest. I don't care if it's because of, which this is for, probably going to be for a lot of people in this society. There's probably something that happened in their childhood that they just don't want to talk about. Whether it was some kind of physical abuse or mental abuse or sexual abuse, who knows? It's some type of abuse, it's some type of trauma that most likely happened in their childhood. Whether it's simply from school and the structure that creates, or whether it's from just the society and how it forces parents to behave a lot of times. It doesn't matter if it's really just part of the society that made you emotional, or if it was some type of excessive abusive practice that was put onto you. Regardless, it's got to be confronted, because otherwise that person's just going to continue to be emotional. If they're going to do that, you got to get them out of your family. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your mom. I don't care if it's your sister. I don't care if it's your daughter. I don't care if it's your wife, your husband. It doesn't matter. You got to get them out if they're going to be like that. You can't be around those people if you want to be wealthy. If you want to be healthy, you can't be around those people. Your wealth is your health. I got a video on that. Check it out. We'll end this one here. I don't want to make this too long, and I covered everything I wanted to. See, here one more concept to go with. So, and then someone's going to say, well, I mean, it just seems so hard to get started. Yes, but that's all it takes. If you want to go down to the corner store, you have to take a step first. You got to open your door and walk outside of it. You can't just all of a sudden step and then you're at the corner store. That's not how it works in the system. There's progress to things, which is great, because that lets us know and gives us an opportunity to make a change, a choice in the middle. Maybe we're halfway down the road to the convenience store and there's an accident in the road and then the whole road's blocked off. We're just going to keep walking because we made a predisposed decision to keep going? No. We're going to find a different path, because you've seen the progress. You've seen that there was no progress that way, so you decided to turn around, go around a different way, and end up in the same destination. That's why we have progress with everything. That's why we go slowly, because the slower we go, the more time and energy we put into something, the stronger it is. The more sound it is. The more autonomous it is. Autonomous has to do with atoms. Autonomous. It's not automatic. It's just onto itself. And this is the same thing if you look at people who live in the snow. If you want to make a snowman, you just don't all of a sudden start piling snow together to make a big ball. Especially if you're going to be lifting it up and putting it on one of the higher, on top of the bigger ball, because it's going to fall apart if you do that. If you just go like this and start scraping snow together, that's not a sound structure in any way, shape, or form. You're doing it very fast, very viciously, and volatilely, so it's going to fall apart the same way. But now, if how most people would do it, you start with a little ball and you just start rolling it and rolling it and rolling it. All of a sudden it's double, it's triple, it's quadruple. All of a sudden it's as big as it needs to be. And if you get into the right area on the ground, you can multiply the size of the ball very quickly, because the more space you have, the more you allow to occur around you, and the more you're able to work with what's around you, the more faster you'll grow, and the more you'll grow. In the same, or while still maintaining the same solidity and cohesion, because it all comes down to communication. And when you're rolling a ball, you're touching every side of it. You're feeling every side of it. Not just you either. The snow, the particles, the atoms. Each little piece of matter in there is all forming and aligning together and melting and intersecting and locking into itself to build a sound structure. This is how a crystal is made in the earth. This is how you make yourself into a crystal. This is how you make your family into a crystal. It's through communication. Same with yourself. You have to communicate with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, you can't be honest with your family. You can't be honest with your community. You can't be honest with your whole entire life, which means you're going to be damned and subjected to a life of death. You're living in sin. But if you can communicate with yourself, if you can hold yourself accountable, if you can hold your family accountable with being fair and compassionate at the same time, you guys are going to soar. You'll all be flying in no time, because it doesn't take long, because time does not exist. It is just movement. That's all it is movement. So just start moving. Start moving, and you will be wealthy before you even realize it.